So as we discussed, there are different types of files. Each file has its own importance. And when coming to this alert log file, it will be started with the keyword called alert underscore and the instance name, whatever may be the instance name. Instance name nothing but your database name or our SID name. SID means system identifier. Okay, SID or instance name both are same. And in this case, database name and instance name both are same. For us, ORADB1, correct? That's what we have created. Alert underscore ORADB1 dot log log. This will be the name of the alert log file. So it is very important, this file. Whenever we got any database error, we have to first go and refer to this file. All database related errors will be recorded in this log file. It also contains when the database was created, when the database instance was started, and when it was stopped. Okay, and to start the database, there are certain files like parameter file, server parameter file, P file and SP file. Okay, this P file contains the parameters that need to be started for the instance initiation. So all those parameters will be in the parameter file. So those parameters that are required to start the instance, that also will be recorded in this log file. Okay. So for the database creation, we use certain script of files. So those also will be recorded in this log file. These are the details that contains alert log file. Okay. Next, P file or parameter file. It contains certain parameters that are required or mandatory to start the database or instance. Okay. And here the notation is init, init, and the instance name or database name. In our case, it will be ORADB1. Okay, dot ORA. That means init ORADB1 dot ORA is the parameter file name in our database. Okay. So next is password file. Password file, it contains the password for the sys user, as I told you. So this is also one of the important file. Next, archive log file. As I already told you in the previous class, a copy of read log file which is used for recovery, we call it as archive log file. Okay, we'll talk in detail about archive log file and archive log file management class. Okay, next, trace file. So whenever there is any error, respect to trace file will be generated and its errors details will be recorded in the alert log file. And its extension is .trc. Any file with extension .trc is a trace file. Okay, that is user generated error trace files. Next, SP file or server parameter file. So P file and SP file, they are same. Just a minute, I'm getting call.
Okay.
Hello, Rehan. I'm back. Hello,
Yes.
Rehan. I'm back.
Yasham.
Okay. So, are able to follow? Any questions till now?
Yes. We are on SP file. It is same as PFP file.
Yes. Yes. So, SP file is a dynamic file. Why? Because for P file, we need to stop the database, make the respective changes in the P file, and again we need to start the database. So if it is a production systems, it is a troublesome job, correct? Where we cannot stop the database, correct? So for that, from 9A version onwards, Oracle Corporation has given us a file called server parameter file, which we no need to stop the database and start the database. While the database is up and running, we can make the changes to the parameters, which we call it as server parameter file, dynamically without shutting down the database. Okay, that we'll see in detail how it can be done. It also contains the same parameters, whatever the P file contains. Okay, P file is a text file. Okay, where we can see the all the parameters like how we are seeing this file now, notepad file. Okay, whereas SP file is a semi-binary file. We cannot make the changes dynamically, but we can make the changes at the command level by changing certain options for the server parameter file, which will reflect the changes to the database without stopping and starting the database instance. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. This will talk in detail in the coming sessions about P file and SP file, how SP file get created, etc. and its parameters. Okay. Next, block sizes. Okay. So there is a formula for this, how the block size of Oracle database will be captured. So 2 power n, where n equal to 1 to 5. So 2 power 1, 2, 2 power 2, 4, 2 power 3, 8, 2 power 4, 16, and 2 power 5 is 32. So this means sizes of blocks can be created in Oracle database. Okay, and here if the block size is 2 KB, 4 KB, or 8 KB, so maximum up to 8 KB we can use it in Windows operating system, Linux operating system, and Solaris operating system. Maximum we can go up to 8K. Whereas in HP Unix and IBM AX we can go up to 32 KB.
Sure.
Is it? Can you able to follow?
Yes.
This is very, very, very important. This information you will get nowhere, only from Oracle Corporation people. I believe you understood, right? Okay. Next, Oracle 9a, Oracle 10G, Oracle 11G. See, in Oracle 9a, default block size is 2 KB, and in Oracle 10G, we can get it a block size of 8 KB, and Oracle 11G also it is 8 KB. So from 10G onwards, the default block size of Oracle is 8 KB. Okay, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. So 8 KB we can use it for Windows, Linux, Solaris, HP Unix, and IBM AX. If you want to use 16 KB, we cannot use these three operating systems. We have to use either HP Unix or IBM AX. Remember that.
So it will be little fast in that one.
Exactly.
IBM AX.
Yeah, there are a lot of differences. 16 KB, 32 KB, obviously the performance will be good. Okay, just a minute. I'm getting once again some call. Hello, Rehan. I'm back. I'm sorry.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So these are the different block sizes that Oracle has given us. And these block sizes are very important. This is very minor and very important information. You will hardly get anywhere. Only from Oracle professionals, Oracle corporate professionals, Oracle corporation employee professionals. Okay. And sometimes in Oracle manuals, which was written by Oracle people. Okay. I cannot give more information than this. Okay. Is it clear? Any questions till now?
Yes. No.
Okay, we are good to go further, or you want me to go back and clarify your questions in me?
No, nothing. Please follow. Follow, please.
Okay, okay. And here, another important concept in Oracle database or Oracle server understanding is the background processes. They are very, very, very important in this architecture point of view. Without this background process, there is no Oracle database because they are the backbone for the Oracle database to operate efficiently and effectively. Okay.
Yes.
Without this process, there is no Oracle database. And out of this, there are mandatory background process like SPON, PMON, DBWR, LGWR, CKPT. Okay, these five are mandatory background processes for Oracle database, no matter the version. These are mandatory. Without this, Oracle database will not function. Remember that. Okay. SMON means system monitor, PMON means process monitor, DBWR means database writer, LGWR means log writer, CKPT means checkpoint. And there are some optional background process like ARC means archiver, RVWR means recovery writer, MMAN means memory manager. Like that, there are many. I have given only few of them optional. Okay. So no need to
Yes.
remember, at least if we have some understanding on some of the process, that is enough. MMON, memory monitor, job queue process, like this, there are many. We cannot remember all the parameters. There are more than 100. Okay. So just try to remember these five mandatory and some of these. These also not required, but mandatory we should remember. So let us understand what is SMON, what is system monitor, what it does. Okay. What it does is it will, when an instance or a database, when it get failed, it will perform the recovery by itself. That is the first job it will do. Okay. And if there are any temporary segments, what is a segment, how it is, that we'll talk in the coming sessions. As of now, try to understand its temporary segments. Nothing but your temporary tables simply. Okay. It will clean up any temporary tables which are not using for quite long time, unless it is occupying some space, right? So if it is not getting used for certain period of time, so it will clean up those segments or those tables, temporary tables which we use for our processing purposes intermediary. Is it clear?
Yes.
Next, there is a unique number for every 1 second in database. A unique number will be created or a unique number will be generated for every 1 second. That is called as system change number or SCN. Okay, this unique number will record the respective activity for every 1 second, whatever it is happening in the database. So this SCN number will be updated in all the data file headers. Every data file has its format that I will discuss in the coming sessions, what it contains. So in that, there is one part called data file header. In that, this SCN number is recorded. Okay. Similarly, the same SCN number is also recorded in control files also. The same SCN number is also recorded in control files also. In simple terms, SCN number should match in data file headers and also in control files. Okay?
Yes.
Then only the database will be up and running. Otherwise, the database is in an inconsistent state. Remember that. The database will not up at any given point of time. If the SCN numbers do not match in both the files, data file headers and also in control files. In both these files, the SCN number should be same. Remember that. Clear?
Yes.
Slowly try to understand. If you are not able to follow, I will explain once again. Slowly it will come. It will not come in one day. It will take some time as you keep reading. Okay? No hurry.
Yes.
Try to understand the concept slowly and thoroughly. That is what my focus is on. Past 13 and a half years. Okay? It continues the same. Next. It also performs instance crash recovery. What is instance crash recovery? Instance, nothing but your database. So sometimes it get crashed for any kind of reason. Some reasons we cannot be explained. So at any given point of time, whenever it got crashed for any number of reasons, okay, so it will perform recovery. So it will follow two kinds of mechanisms. One is roll forward mechanism. Next one is roll backward mechanism. Okay. And whenever a set of transactions, whatever we are been applying against the database, okay, the respective changes will be applied to the database files, or it gets updated or gets inserted the records into the database tables, strictly speaking. So then if we commit the transaction, then it is a roll forward mechanism. If we don't commit, or if it gets rolled back, then we call as roll backward mechanism. So this is about roll forward and roll backward mechanism in SMON. These are all the responsibilities of SMON. Is it clear?
Yes.
SMON is system monitor. That's the reason it will be easy for the student. I gave in points, point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, like this. Okay? Are you there?
Yes. Yes, Shyam.
Yes.
I'm listening.
Yes. Yes. And next is PBON. PBON is process monitor. See, whenever a user gets connected, a session got established, as I told you, right? Similarly, if some other user got connected, again another session will got established. Like this, if n number of users are connected, we have n number of sessions
Process.
established to the Oracle database server. Okay, and for every session, a separate user process will be created or generated. Okay, and when it's get failed, it performs a recovery for that process, for the user process. Remember that PMON is related to user. Okay, and if the transactions are not committed, they get rolled back, and it will also clean the buffer cache, I mean database buffer cache, and it will release the resources that are being allocated to the process. Clear? Very simple, only 3 points. When a user
Yes.
process get failed, it does the process recovery. Next, it will roll back the uncommitted transactions. Okay. Next, it will clean the buffer cache and free the resources that were being allocated to the process.
Shyam, I have one question here.
Yes, please.
Process recovery means it will restart a new session for that particular user, or that session will be regained again.
It will try to regain if it can do, depending on the instant at that point of time.
Yes, good.
Okay.
Yes.
Shall we go further? Any questions?
Yes, please. No question.
Okay. So next is DBWR, means database writer. At which occasions the database writer will get invoked? This we have to understand. Actually, what does database writer do? First, we should know that. Then we can try to understand in which situations this database writer will get invoked or get started. First, what is the job of a database writer? A database writer will write the data from database buffer cache to database files or data files present inside the table space on the hard disk. Once again, a database writer will write the data from database buffer cache to data files which is present inside table space on your hard disk. Is it clear?
Yes.
So when it gets invoked, whenever a log switch happens, what is a log switch? This will talk about log switch in read log file management. Okay. As of now, just try to understand whenever a log switch happens or whenever a database get shut down, and for every 3 seconds, and there will be certain threshold value. If it's 70% and above, then also it gets invoked. And if the particular database files is not being used continuously for certain given period of time, at that point of time, that was least recently used. In all these occasions, database writer gets invoked. Lock switch
Without
means, yes, please.
without committing, it will write to the disk. It will write to the data files.
Exactly. Yes, please. You are
Yes.
asking any question?
No, no. This is only without committing. It will going to write to the data files. Okay. For each 3 seconds, it keep
Yes.
taking from buffer and it will write
Yeah.
to the data files.
Yes. Yes. In all these occasions, this gets invoked for every 3 seconds. Whenever it gets shut down database, or if the threshold is 70% reach, or if it is not used past few minutes or seconds, whatever it might be, that is least recently used, and whenever a log switch happens. Log switch means in a ready log minimum there should be 2 log files, as I told you, right? So if one of the
Yes.
log file filled up, the writer will go to the other log file and it keeps writing in a second log file. So when the first log file got filled up, a switch will happen that goes to the second log file, which is called as log switch. Or manually also, we try to give that command, alter system switch log file. At that point also, this log switch will happen. So at that point also, this DB writer will get invoked and it will write the data from database buffer cache to data files present on the disk. Is it clear?
Yes, sure.
In
No
all
question.
these 5 situations, remember, in all these 5 situations, this job will be performed. I believe now it is get clear.
Yes.
Okay. In all these 5 instances, occasions, the selected job will be done. Selected job means which was I was selected in blue color. This will be done. Okay.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay. Next, log writer. What is log writer? I told right there are two log files. If one of the log file got filled up, second log file gets invoked and it will be writing in this. Who will write this? This log writer LGWR is responsible to write the data from read log buffer to read log file on the disk, and also the switches will happen. Who will write this? Log writer will write this. There are two read log files, right? Minimum, as I told you.
Yes.
You remember there are two log files minimum should be there,
Control.
and
Yes.
yeah, control files, one log files, two, like this I told you, right? Minimum, maximum. So
Yes.
one of the log file, it got filled up. The log writer will write the data from redo log buffer to redo log file present on the hard disk. Is it clear?
Yes.
So it is also gets invoked for every 3 seconds, or whenever a commit or rollback statement get issued by the user, or when the read log buffer is 1/3 filled up. In all these 3 occasions, this log writer will do this job. Is it clear?
Yes.
Next, what about checkpoint? Checkpoint is also one of the important or mandatory background process. What is its job when it's get invoked? Its job is it will make sure whatever the changes that were made in the database present in the buffer cache at that point are written to the data files. Remember, but the actual writing of database files to database files from database buffer cache will be done by the database writer process, but it will make sure it is like a team leader or a project leader who will ensure that respective job assigned to the respective team member was being completed or not. Here, the checkpoint will act as a team leader or a project leader who will make sure that the database writer is writing the respective data from database buffer cache to data files present in the table space in the hard disk or not. Okay, that
Yes.
is one job for checkpoint. Second job of checkpoint is the data file headers and the control files, they are updated with the latest SCN number. SCN is the system change number, a unique number. Okay,
Yes.
this is done by the log writer process.
SCN will be generated per second, per 3 seconds.
For every 1 second, a unique number in the database will be created for the activities which are doing in the database. That is called as SCN. SCN full form is system change number. So, as I told you in the previously, data file headers and control files should have the same SCN. If it is not same, then the database in an inconsistent
Inconsistent.
state. The database will not up. So the log writer will make sure these two jobs are being done. First is the database writer is writing data from database buffer cache to data files. Second is data file headers and control files. They are updated with the latest SCN number. These two jobs are being monitored by checkpoint. Is it clear now?
Yes.
Or you want me to explain once again?
No need. It's clear. It's perfect.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Next, in which conditions or at which occasions the checkpoint will get invoked is in all these conditions. When a lock switch happens, or when a database gets shut down, or whenever we issue a manual command, alter system checkpoint with a semicolon terminating at the SQL prompt, or with sys user, that's the reason I gave a sys prompt, or whenever a timeout happens. What is a timeout? There is a parameter in the P file or SP file. If we give at the SQL prompt show parameter checkpoint interval, it will show you how many seconds or how many minutes it was there. So whenever the time period has completed, it gets timed out. Okay, again it gets restarted. So at that given point of time, this checkpoint will get invoked and it will do the two jobs which I told you above. Got it? In
Yes.
all these occasions, okay, these two jobs are performed by the checkpoint background process. And whenever we make the database in begin backup mode, what is begin backup? Whenever we are taking a hot backup, we give a command called begin backup. This we'll see in the backup class. For just now, try to understand these concepts. In these occasions, checkpoint gets invoked and it will do these two jobs. It will perform these two activities or two kinds of jobs which were assigned by Oracle server to checkpoint process. Is it clear?
Yes.
These are mandatory background processes. SMON system monitor, PMON process monitor, next LGWR log writer. Okay, what is the next one? DBWR database writer. Next is finally checkpoint. SMON, PMON,
Yes.
DBWR, LGWR and checkpoint. These are 5 mandatory background processes. Is it clear now? Any questions till now?
Yes.
Shall I go further?
Yes. Please.
Okay. Next, table spaces. So, for every database creation, these table spaces are must. Correct? So, system table space contains actual your sys related user tables like base tables, user dollar, tab dollar, sin dollar, priv dollar, etc. And sysocs table space contains the performance related views, and your temporary table space contains whatever sorting operations we are performing. So those data will be stored in temporary table space. And undo table space, it will contain the before image of your transactional SQL commands like insert, update, delete, or in other terms we can call as DML transactions. TX means transactions. For our understanding, I kept like this. In simple English, before image of DML transactions. Like say for example, there is a user called Peter whose salary is 5,000 US dollars. Okay, I want to change their salary to $8,000. Okay, so for that I give a statement called update. Correct?
Yes.
So in order to make the change of Peter's salary from 5,000 US dollars to $8,000, I use a command called update statement. update so and so table name, set, and the particular column equal to so much, whose salary is this much, etc., etc. I give certain statement. So this 5,000 US dollars will be changed to 8,000 US dollars provided I give a update statement followed by a commit. Correct?
Yes.
Here, whenever I give this 5,000 to 8,000, this first number 5,000 will be saved in certain location, which is called as undo table space. In that it will be get stored, that 5,000, and this 8,000 will get updated. So this 5,000 will be stored until the given period of time. The parameters are there. In detail, we'll talk up to how many seconds or how many minutes it will get stored the old value. After a certain given period of time, the old value will be flushed, the new value will be updated. So whenever any user wants to access the table for that particular period of time, they get old value and also new value after certain period of time. We'll
In that
talk in
certain period of
detail
time, I
how it
can roll back.
happens.
Yes.
Pardon me?
In that certain period of time, I can roll back. If you need, the user can roll back the changes.
Yeah. This concept, I believe you are aware, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that is about your undo table space. Next, users table space. Here we our actual tables, your client's information, business data will be here. Correct? Actual client data.
Yes. Custom tables.
Next, index table space.
Yes.
Whatever the user's table space we have, for that we create correspondingly some indexes. Correct? So those indexes will be in the index table space. So each table space has its own importance. Okay. So while designing of database, the DBA or the respective person, gentleman or a gentle person, they should be keeping all these in view and they should design the database, keeping the performance or the activities, the client's data availability, all that points they should see, and they should forecast, they should predict how the data will grow in the coming months and the coming years, so that accordingly they should design the database by keeping all these points in view. Architecture is very, 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 very important for every DBA. Remember, without this, there is no DBA. This and backup, these are very important. Remember me. This is the background. You should keep it in your mind, architecture. And basing on that, most of the job of a DBA is performing backups. Okay, doing some tuning here and there. This is the maintenance activity, adding some files, doing some deployment jobs. 85 to 90% of DBAs in the world today, they do these activities only. Remember that. Okay. High-end jobs like updation, migrations, all these are very rare activities.
Yes.
Okay. You will not do daily updations, right? The database got upgraded from 9G to 10G and 10G to 11G. This you do only once. You will not do daily, correct?
Yes.
So your daily jobs are backups, doing some refreshes. Refresh nothing but taking the snapshot of your production database and deploying it in your development or test environment and executing some scripts which the developer writes. That's called deployment activities. Adding some files, resizing some files, taking care of your space in hard disk, in your file system, in the partitions which we have created, and also in your data files. This kind of daily routine activities are performed by a DBA. Okay. Is it clear?
Clear, Sham. It's perfect.
Okay, okay. So We'll stop it here and we'll do it from next class, the next topics. Okay.
Okay. Yes.
So just go through this document and also I will send you the recording. This is completely your architecture, your underground core architecture. Remember that.
Okay.
We all mean it. That's the reason I'm stressing a lot on this. Remaining topics are very simple, but these are very, very, very important ground level concepts. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll stop it here. We'll continue from tomorrow.
Okay, Shyam. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Take care. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much.